We are going to dive in today to talk about progressive overload. This is something extremely important to kind of talk about when you are going through your fitness journey, along with having the knowledge, because a lot of times if you're not progressively overloading, you're going to reach a point called a plateau. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard of that, where you're kind of just stuck and you don't see weight gain, you don't see weight loss, you don't, feel stronger, you're not seeing any progress. So we're going to dive in and talk kind of about how to overcome a plateau, how to, actually start to see a difference in how you look and how you feel, kind of pushing yourself to build muscle, burn body fat, increase strength, and improve your physique. So that's what progressive overload is. So we're going to dive in. There are many different ways to progressively overload. The first way is increasing your weight. The second way is increasing your reps. The third way is adding sets. And then the fourth way, which we don't have on here, is just reducing your rest times. And so a story that kind of relates to progressive overload is the story of Milo. So this is about a young man who, he was growing up holding a calf on his shoulder for years and years and years. And as the calf was getting bigger and growing, so was Milo. Milo was getting bigger, Milo was getting stronger, so that Milo could continue to hold the calf on his shoulders, right? So that's what demonstrates progressive overload. So we'll dive in a little bit more about that story and what that means. So the principle of progressive overload. So if you look at this chart, you're going to see homeostasis. At the bottom of this graph, right, you have that black line right here. Homeostasis is where your body is pretty much at a plain old, consistent, just being exactly how it is. And so when you're being how you are every single day, just at a point of homeostasis, you're at the same, you're going to just be that black line. But let's say you go to the gym and you start to curl 10-pound dumbbells. What you're doing when you're doing that is actually breaking down your muscle fibers. And with that being said, it's not going to hurt. You're not going to feel it in the gym. You have no idea that you're breaking down your muscle fibers, right? But you're overloading your muscles and stimulating them to obviously break down. Now, when we are recovering, which would be on the days that we're actually not working out, on our rest days, when you're resting all day long, this is your recovery, your body will repair these micro tears and be bigger and stronger. So then when you go to the gym, so that's little green dots, when you go to the gym the next time, so then you're in homeostasis, you go to the gym the next time, you can probably do 12-pound dumbbells, curling 12 pounds instead of 10. And so that repeats over and over. And that's the principle of progressive overload. So you should be able to continue to increase your weight to become bigger and stronger. Now, if you're using the same weight every time and using 10 pounds every time for weeks and weeks on end, you're not going to see any progress. And that's how you're going to reach a plateau. So the goal is to build that muscle and get stronger so you can burn that body fat. So let's dive into like rest days. So when you are resting, this is actually the best time to be building muscle. So obviously your rest days, you're going to have to make sure you're recovering with the correct nutrition.
Can I disconnect that and add Bluetooth connect?
Oops, I'm going to mute. Oh, Alicia, can you mute whoever's talking? Sorry. So on your rest days, you are going to be building your muscles. And to do that, you're going to recover through really solid nutrition, through sleep, right? Making sure that your body is at a point where it can recover to be bigger and stronger. That's why, honestly, I want to dive in. Some weeks you're going to go to the gym and you're only going to be able to curl 10 pounds again. You're going to be like, I cannot do the same amount of reps for my 12 or 15 pounds, right? Because your body didn't recover fully to its max. So it's super important to hit your macro goals daily. I don't know about you, but I'll come back from vacation and I like absolutely cannot lift the same because I wasn't focusing on being super accurate with my macro goals. Or maybe if you go out and drink for a weekend and you're not really focused on your macro goals, right? You're going to come back into the gym and you might not be able to do what you did last week because your body didn't fully recover, right? That could be through sleep, that could be through nutrition, that could be through rest, right? So as you go back to the gym, you'll always add a little bit more stimulus in order to continue to progress. And if you're not progressively overloading, as I said, if you're just using, the 10 pounds over and over and over for weeks on end, then you're going to reach a plateau. This is why your plan should be progressed every few weeks. So with our one-on-one coaching, we progress our clients every 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes 4 weeks. So it's super important because your body is very adaptable and it's really easy to get used to a training plan. So we're going to continue. So I always love to dive in. Everyone says, but I love to go to the gym and I love to run on the treadmill, or what about running outside, or what about doing the elliptical, or the Stairmaster should grow your butt, right? Well, I want to dive in and talk a little bit about cardio versus resistance training, which is also considered weight training. So I'm not saying not to do cardio because cardio is great. It's great for your heart health, but it's not the most effective way to lose weight and keep it off sustainably. What this means is when you do cardio, you're training for endurance, and all of the food that you consume that day, you'll burn off. But then when you eat again, you add it all back exactly to where it was. When you're lifting weights and focusing on building muscle, you'll actually begin to burn body fat. So what I like to dive into in cardio targets weight loss. Building muscle targets body fat loss. And a lot of people, when they say they want to look toned, they want to have a small waist, they want to, look good and defined and have a nice butt, right? Whenever someone says that, that is the muscle growth of burning body fat. Weight loss will leave you looking kind of frail, kind of flabby skin. Have you ever seen someone who loses a lot of weight through, very low nutrition, very low calories, through, just cardio, right? They look kind of frail. So the reason why you want to obviously burn fat is because then you'll have that underlying layer of excess muscle and you're going to see that toned, nice Instagram model look. Does that make sense, guys? Okay, cool beans. So I always dive in and like to say, sustainability is key, right? Because you can totally get all the weight off with cardio. No joke, you can lose all this weight, but you're gonna gain it all back. When you actually build muscle, this takes months and months of consistent workout routines, of consistent progressive overload, of consistent nutrition. So this isn't a 4-week thing. So I love this challenge and I think it's an awesome thing, but do not expect to see your muscles going like popping, or, I like to say, like, don't expect your butt to be 3 inches bigger, right? Because you need to be consistent. I also want to dive into and talk a little bit about, a lot of girls say, but when I lift weights, I'm scared I'm going to get bulky, like those bodybuilders, right? That is actually really, really hard to get to. As you guys have seen, I've been lifting weights for about 3.5 years. Do I look big and bulky? No. I hip thrusted 250 pounds, right? So I'm super strong, but I'm not big and bulky. And it actually takes a lot of effort and, like, I would say at least 10 to 15 years to reach that point of being big and bulky. Like those girls, they actually try to look that way. So if you think lifting weights is going to get you to look that way, you're going to actually have to try to look like, it's really hard. And a lot of those girls take steroids as well. So do not expect to look big, manly, and bulky by lifting weights unless you're actually trying to do that. So as long as you are consistent with your routine, which is our goal to teach you through this challenge, and as long as you are eating the right nutrition, you should see muscle growth over time. As I said, you might not see as much in the 4 weeks, but in 4 months and so on, you should absolutely see that muscle growth.